where are we going to now? Let's go to Tottenham, right? Who should be the next Tottenham manager? Let me just remind you guys of some of the names in the mix and the odds. Julian Nagelsmann 11-10 on, according to Sky Bet. Mauricio Pochettino 5-1. Vincent Kompany 6-1. Arne Slot 10-1. Brendan Rodgers 10-1. Roberto De Zerbi 10-1. Christian Stellini 12-1. Thomas Frank 14-1. Luis Enrique 16-1. Marco Silva 16-1. Is it nailed on for Nagelsmann to come in and be the manager? And is he the best fit? If he isn't, then who is from the Tottenham fan, Fuad?
Is Nagelsmann mad?
I just don't know, bruv. I actually don't know. It's such a mess, the way this club is structured, the way it's built. Literally all of those names you mentioned, I don't know if any of them are a good fit. Because
really?
I look at Nagelsmann, and the way I see it, honestly, Nagelsmann has now been at Bayern Munich and RB Leipzig, two institutions that are fine-tunedly run when it comes to recruitment, building the team, backing the manager, and RB Leipzig more from a scouting young gems perspective, Bayern Munich in terms of getting ready-made talent. Spurs are not going to offer him anywhere near that. And the thing is does he want the challenge of the Premier League? That could possibly be the only thing. But the way I see it, I see Nagelsmann or a Luis Enrique type manager. I see them as just more of the Conte, if you like, and Jose, where it's come in and win now. Nagelsmann, if he comes in, don't lie to yourself, Spurs fans. He's not going to be here for 6 or 7 years. No, we don't do that, unfortunately. Even when we have had managers who've been worthy of that, Martin Jol, Redknapp, Pochettino, we some way, somehow blow it up in their faces. So if Nagelsmann came in, we would fumble it, I believe, in some capacity. I feel like we need someone like I've said Marcelo Gallardo, who Argentinian manager, did a lot of good things at River Plate. He's not on that list. Ruben Amorim is one at Sporting Lisbon. I think the only issue with him is he plays a back five. I know he can sometimes switch the formations a little bit, but this season I've seen him predominantly with a back five.
Is that a bad thing?
Why is that a problem?
Coming from Conte, is that a bad thing?
Do you think Spurs fans want to see another back five after the 3 managers we've just had now?
Yeah, but the problem is, if you've made signings,
it's hard to.
You're going to have to get rid of all those players to play a back four.
I'm for it. But the thing is, I believe Porro can play in a back four.
You think so?
I believe Destiny can play in a back four. I believe Romero can play in a back four. The problem is you haven't had the centre-backs to be able to play a back four. So for me, I think that's where it would be a problem with Amorim if he came in. But a lot of those names you mentioned, sorry, can I just see that list again? Because I don't think any of them are realistically going to come. So if I'm looking at Pochettino...
Even Pochettino, you don't think realistically
I'm
comes
so
back?
bored of the Pochettino story. And I've come on here and said it multiple times. Bro, we're not going back to a guy who left a situation, and that situation that he left, nothing has changed since. In fact, it's probably gotten worse. So my question would be, why the hell are you walking back into this situation after you left and won a league title? I'm hearing Madrid are flirting with you. I'm hearing Chelsea are flirting. Go and show yourself some self-respect and go there. Don't walk back into this. So for me, it's kind of, you're going to ruin what you did the first time round just to come and cover this board's arse, essentially. So for me, I'm not for that. And looking at some of the other names, De Zerbi, Frank, they're in good situations where they're not going to leave. So
I've got a name, and I'd like to run it by. And especially as you say, you don't want a back three, and he succeeded Conte with us. I think Maurizio Sarri would do a decent job at Spurs.
He's one I've heard, but I don't.
I think he'd do really well at Spurs.
Where is he now?
Lazio.
Similar thing with the back five issue. We also don't want no more Chelsea managers.
But he doesn't play a back four.
Don't care.
Chelsea fans hate him.
Don't care.
It's not like a coach we loved.
Don't care.
Respect.
We don't need no more ex-Chelsea. We are done with this
respect,
space.
but
respect,
so
man.
It's
respect,
I like the football he's playing. He's doing a good thing at Lazio.
He'd do well at Spurs.
Keep doing your thing at Lazio. You don't need to come here. You saw how the English press treated you the first time round.
And our fan base too.
Don't fall up for that, man. I'm telling you.
That's the problem.
He'd be a great coach for Spurs.
From an ideas perspective, I think he's good. But in actuality, it doesn't make sense.
Kane would be a monster under Sarri. I genuinely believe it.
Kane ain't going to be a monster under anybody. He's leaving in the summer. Bro, I'm telling you. Oh, shit! Yeah, Kane is done.
Kulusevski, Kane, it'd be gorgeous.
The names on that list are there.
Brendan Rodgers, Arne Slot, they are two managers, in all honesty, we're going to have to realistically look at. Arne Slot is doing... I've said Rodgers is the name, yeah. Every Spurs fan, when they hear it, they're like, ugh, he's seeing Leicester.
He's done well with them.
Rodgers as a manager is actually a very good manager. For me, he's a good manager. He's a good motivator. He's good at working within a restricted budget, if you like. He's good at developing young talent.
Ex-Chelsea,
coach. Not manager, yeah? Youth coach as well at that. So, but for me, he's the kind of mold of manager that you actually want to bring in. And then who's the other one? Arne Slot, doing good things at final, playing good football. So
who would you, give me one name that you want to come
Marcelo Gallardo. That's the one.
So he's not even on that list.
There you go.
River gets
Marcelo
such good
Gallardo.
talent, though. River get amazing talent, the best talent in South America, though.
I'm looking, and do you know managers like that? I like managers similar like Ten Hag. In a team where they lose their best player every year, and it's a case of how do you rebuild and still keep that team winning? Every year he kept River Plate winning. He got River Plate from the second division, Argentinian second division, back to winning the Champions League in South America. That is a man who knows how to build a club and build a structure. So for me, he is perfect. But the problem is, he doesn't probably speak English. He's not really like known in Europe like that, so it's a case of they're never really gonna look at it.
But Poch didn't. His English wasn't great at the start, you know. And also remember, River.
Poch's English was better than he was letting on.
At Southampton, he was bad.
I thought that as well. At Southampton, he was.
No, but
he needed a translator.
He didn't speak English. Like,
when 6 months at Spurs as well.
Did he have a translator?
I look at Bielsa.
He was doing it straight
He's trying
away,
to do this half butchery, but I could barely understand him, man. It was only like the second year.
But look at Bielsa. It worked for Bielsa at Leeds. I mean, it's not impossible.
He can speak English.
But it worked for him.
He just doesn't want to get misquoted.
But it's like
clever.
It can work. I mean, they lost not only their best players, they're two, but they lost Enzo and Alvarez. And they're still winning. It's insane. They get the best talent in, and I don't know if that's the
Gallardo then. Huddersfield 4, Middlesbrough 1 now. Matty Pearson on 66
Nigel Pearson's
minutes.
son, that.
Very good. Right, so you said Gallardo from the actual Tottenham fan. Let's get a name from you, Tom. Who is the next manager of Tottenham?
Who would I think would do well, or who do I think it will be?
Who do you think the next manager will be?
Brendan Rodgers.
Brendan Rodgers. Gallardo.
I wouldn't put past him.
I think they should try and go and get Ruben Amorim from Sporting, but
those three I wouldn't be mad at: Gallardo, Rodgers, or Amorim. In all honesty, and that's realistically where we're at the moment. We have to take the gamble on a foreign coach who needs that chance. A young, exciting European coach who's been doing his thing.
Maybe he brings back
proven Premier League.
Maybe he brings back Marcus Edwards with him.
The Saris, who I think would do the best at Spurs.
Hey, we need a director of football, you know.
So do we. Yeah.
But,
I'll chuck a name in.
Don't say Vincent.
And again, this isn't me saying who would be the best, but it's me thinking with a Tottenham hat on, with a Daniel Levy hat on. And I do think Pochettino comes back. And again, I'm not saying that they need or should
never go back.
Will do that, but I just think it would be very Tottenham for Levy to do that.
Everyone do that.
Never go back.
If he did. So let us know in the comments who should be the next Tottenham manager. Who is the best fit? Let us know in the comments. Staying on Tottenham though, Fabio Paratici has stepped back from his role at the club. Tottenham director Fabio Paratici has stepped back from his role at the club whilst he finds out the outcome of his appeal. He currently faces a worldwide ban from football. I mean, stepping back.
That's on the Spurs board.
It's the club trying to save face because essentially 2 days ago they came out with a statement saying, we'll wait until we find out the full details of the matter, but we're not doing anything. And then obviously the fans have gone since then, like, what the hell, get rid. Because essentially now Conte's gone. You are kind of like a tandem, if we're being honest. You're not that kind of sporting director where you've got that type of eye. And if anything, over the last 18 months, you've shown that you don't have that eye. So for me, I'm happy to depart or part ways, whatever you want to call it, but just get out of my club, man. Paratici hype.
I was amazed when they brought him in. After the dodgy stuff that had happened at Juventus, and the fact that it was clear that something really was going to happen with him. Look at the stuff they did when they did the Arthur for Pjanic swap. That was dodgy. That was laundering, mate. That was money. And the fact that Spurs saw that and still thought, let's hire him. Then he brings in Nuno and that farce of a summer window.
I think you wanted Conte initially.
He's just not.
He's not because you wanted Conte.
But
you tried to get Conte in the summer.
Paratici is not a good. He did a terrible job at Juventus. Took them from Champions League finals to top 4 races.
You got to remember, he came in at Juve when they were 7th. So
did he come in with Conte the first time?
Yes. So everything Juve are,
but they had
you
Agnelli.
have to give. Agnelli was the director.
Marotta, was it Marotta who they had? Someone else they had?
I can't remember. He's another role. But all I know is the actual sporting director and the manager for the bulk of it were Paratici and Conte. So for that Juve period, I will always give them credit. And in all honesty, when they were coming to the club, that was part of the excitement of, they can maybe build something of that. When I see Romero, Bentancur, Kulusevski come in, I'm like, this is the mould of what Spurs need to do to catch up to the big boys, these young European gems. But
you know
left Juve in a horrible state.
But you know what on Paratici is how much of, because you said obviously he made a few signings and he said maybe the eye for talent, it was proven that he doesn't really have it after. But then
when I say eye for talent is in the sense of the scattergun approach, where when you're signing a right back, you're bidding for 5.
But when you consider how Paul Mitchell end up falling out with Daniel Levy and leaving. Yeah, you got the sporting director, but Levy's in charge. Levy's in charge of everything that goes on there. So how much can that really be put on?
And this is why I was kind of looking at the managerial situation and just paused and just to be like, I don't know, because I've tweeted out. I said, bro, you can peel off the plaster as many times as you like. It won't get rid of the cancer. And that's Daniel Levy. So as long as he's there will always be limitations on whatever manager you bring in, whatever squad you have. You will always feel like, why aren't Spurs maximising? Why aren't they pushing or whatever? So Levy, as long as he's there, this club, I personally can never see it succeeding.
Question for you. Does Levy report directly to Joe Lewis at the top? Or who does he even report to?
Not really. Joe Lewis is on a yacht. He don't give a shit.
He's involved in the whole ownership anyway.
Does Levy just do everything?
Levy's a co-owner, essentially. Yeah. He's a co-owner.
He's like 30% of Enix.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So he actually has... I didn't realise he actually had equity in the club.
Paratici on his way. Let's go to Chelsea.